In the spring of 1945, the Pacific War reached its final and most brutal chapter. The Battle of Okinawa, codenamed Operation Iceberg, would become the largest amphibious assault of the Pacific Theater and one of the deadliest battles of the Second World War. By April 1945, Allied forces had fought across the Pacific, from Guadalcanal to Iwo Jima, capturing island after island in a costly campaign known as island hopping. Okinawa, only 350 miles from Japan's mainland, was the final step before a full-scale invasion of the home islands. And on Easter Sunday, the invasion began. More than 180,000 troops of the US 10th Army stormed Okinawa's western beaches, under the protection of one of the greatest fleets ever assembled. But instead of the fierce resistance they expected, they found silence. Japanese commander General Mitsuru Ushijima had ordered his forces to withdraw inland. There, in the island's southern hills, they built a labyrinth of tunnels and bunkers, waiting for the Allies to come to them. Supporting the invasion was an enormous Allied armada, over 1,500 ships. Among them, the Royal Navy's Pacific Fleet, known as Task Force 57, under Admiral Sir Bruce Fraser. British carriers launched relentless airstrikes against the Japanese airfields on Formosa and the Sakishima Islands. Facing waves of kamikaze attacks, their armoured decks withstood direct hits. The courage of the British and Commonwealth sailors earned them the name the Kamikaze-Proof Fleet. Their protection was vital in keeping the invasion fleet safe, and the skies above Okinawa clear. The first weeks saw quick progress in the island's north. But when US forces turned south, they met hell itself. The Japanese defensive line anchored around the Shuri Castle was a maze of caves, tunnels, and interlocking fields of fire. For 82 days, the fighting raged in rain and mud. Every ridge, every cave, at enormous cost. American artillery and naval guns blasted the hills all day and night, while kamikaze pilots hurled themselves at Allied ships offshore. The shoreline collapsed under overwhelming firepower. The surviving Japanese troops retreated to the island's southern tip, where, surrounded and out of supplies, many took their own lives rather than surrender. On June 22, 1945, Okinawa was declared secure, but victory came at a staggering cost. Over 12,000 Americans were dead, nearly 50,000 wounded. Japan lost more than 100,000 soldiers, and between 100,000 and 150,000 Okinawan civilians, nearly one-third of the island's population, were gone. The carnage of Okinawa haunted American leaders. If one small island could cost so many lives, what would the invasion of Japan itself bring? Estimates suggested over 1 million Allied casualties and millions more Japanese dead. To avoid another Okinawa, President Harry S. Truman authorized the use of a new and terrible weapon, the atomic bomb. The Second World War was over, but the memory of Okinawa remained as a warning of what war truly costs. This is one survivor's story told in their words.
Got on board the landing craft, and there's ships all over the place. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, God knows what, all over the horizon. And here are the Japanese Zeros, kamikazes, hitting the ships. Boom. Rockets, bombs, everything's, oh God, what an experience. Planes come flying over, dropping bombs on the island. And we landed on Okinawa. We landed at Yantan Airfield. There was nobody there. Don't know whatever but there were no Japs there. So we advanced, probably, I can't tell you, mile and a half, 2 miles, going up the hills, and Japanese are starting to shoot at us. And we moved around, from one community to another, kinda. A lot of rice paddies. Killed one woman. She was running across the rice paddy. This was dusk. She was running across the rice, but she was carrying a rifle. And at that point, I didn't know if it was a he or a she. It didn't make any difference. Bingo. Went out the next morning, and sure enough, here it is, a woman, Japanese. We're near Naha. Naha was the capital of Okinawa. And Naha was about as flat as this carpet is from our bombs. We had bombed Naha, and there was nothing left of it, all just rubble. We're on a rice paddy at night, and all of a sudden, up goes a flare some way off in the distance. Well, these flares light up everything. And here's a whole line of Japanese soldiers. I can see them. They all went down on their knee. Boom, 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 boom. And I killed them. All of a sudden, one of these guys had a very pistol, and he shot it at me. Went right over the top of my head. Boom. Never forget it. Shot where he was, and that was the end of that. One night, we got a foxhole. Over there someplace, we'd see a light go on. Guy was smoking. When he did that so far, and that was the end of him. We got into another farmhouse or some kind of a building. We stayed there the night. And that morning, bing, 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 bing. You could see the pattern of these mortar shells that are coming in our direction. Because we had to get out of that building pretty quick. And we got out of there, and all of a sudden, the mortar shells stopped, and the Japanese come around this way. One come out, and he stood there. After shooting him, I kind of got up and got with our guys. I took the life, probably 12 to 20 men. These guys never had a chance to reproduce children. Young men, like you, like I was, these guys were denied that. And that bothered me. And I'll never forget